Hello everybody, welcome back to Gray's Hardware, and if you are an enterprise card enthusiast back in March of 2009, like the 20 of you maybe in the world were, you might have picked one of these up. This is an NVIDIA Quadro FX 380, and today we're going to be going ahead and looking at this card, benchmarking it in some games, and try and see, where does it fit in today? A lot of these Quadro cards are kind of forgotten, a lot of these enterprise cards, they're kind of discounted now as kind of nothing cards, but we're going to go ahead and see. We're going to benchmark this guy, but first let me kind of tell you a little bit about it. So, like I said, this launched in March of 2009, so that's part of the NVIDIA's Tesla architecture. It launched for $129. So you can see here, this really would not have been used in any gaming application, but it does have that $129 price tag back in 09. So you can think about that how you want. Now, this guy, as you can see here, has this cute little blower cooler on it. Now, as you may have heard from me before, I am an avid blower cooler hater. I think that they cool terribly and that they never really do a good job. However, this card only has a 34 watt TDP. It doesn't even have a power connector on here, so I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that. Now, this guy actually only came in the reference design. There was no partner models here, so just like all of NVIDIA's Quadro cards, workstation cards, that kind of stuff, they all come direct from NVIDIA. There are no partner models. So, like I said, this is the Quadro FX 380. You can see it says right in there. And yeah, this is actually it's not very long, but it's definitely a thick card, especially for 09. Like I said, Tesla architecture, so that's kind of some fun throwback there. Now let's go ahead and talk specs real quick. It's got 16 cores, 8 ROPs. It has 256 megabytes of GDDR3. That's on a 128-bit bus. And kind of for some relative performance, so you can kind of get it in your head, it's about 35% faster than a GT210. That's in raw processing power, so that doesn't necessarily transfer directly to game performance, but in die-to-die, this thing is 35% faster than a GT210 out of the box. It's 314 million transistors in this, and let's go and look at the ports real quick. 2 dinosaurs. We got 2 DVIs here. Now, this thing can display 2 outputs here, it can output 2 displays. I wouldn't do that. This thing is not super powerful, and you're going to be locked probably to 30 hertz on both displays, so that's going to be not super fun. Look at the board layout here. It's actually kind of interesting with our power delivery kind of over here in this weird, I've never seen power delivery in such a weird kind of layout here, but I guess it's going to be in a workstation, so back in 09, it wouldn't really matter. You're not going to be looking at this card going, man, that's a good-looking card. And that was never the point, right? So we have our memory chips here flanking. Looks like we have 4 memory chips on here. Oh, we do. Yeah, so we have 4 memory chips, again, all equaling up to 256 megabytes. And these are all Samsung. Yeah, it looks like these are all Samsung chips. Trying to see what else we got here. Yeah, so we have this blower cooler, like I said. It's interesting how the contact here, right in the middle here, but it's actually at the bottom of this blower here. So the contact of where the actual die is right there, actually going to be, you can kind of see it right in there, kind of in the middle of the fan, actually. So that'll be kind of interesting. But, this thing, like I said, it has a 34 watt TDP, so really is not going to be pulling any power. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into the benchmarks and see kind of how this thing performs. All right, we have the FX 380 here in the test bench. Now in here is a Ryzen 7 2700X, 16 gigs of DDR4. You can see on GPU Z here, we have the FX 380. Here's all those guys. We are running it in PCIe 2.0 mode, like we said earlier. Now, the thing is, this thing only supports DirectX 10, so we're really gonna have an issue with some of these games, but let's go ahead and see what we can benchmark. All right, so jumping into the first benchmark here, we have Banished. Now, I love this game. This is a great one to test with DX9 stuff. A lot of this stuff can't play some of the new stuff, so I also apologize that I can't OBS screen record this. It would not let me launch OBS on this GPU. But anyway, we are at 1280, by 1024. So this is the max resolution of this monitor. We are in DX9, and we are at the lowest settings. And this is totally running it okay. Even 80 FPS is considered okay in this game, right? I mean, we saw with the last one that the GTX 560 and whatever is running this, in the crazy high refresh rate kind of frame rates. We can see we're pegged at 100% here, GPU utilization, and this is in a small starter city, so, the especially when we zoom out here, when we get larger cities and whatnot, the FPS will really kind of start to go down. You know, we can already kind of see that 250 megabyte limit on our VRAM here becoming an issue. We're already using 217 megabytes. So anyway, 80 FPS kind of, you know, when we're here, and then if we're zooming out, we're closer to 60 FPS. That's not great. You know, again, this is a Quadro card, so you weren't really going to be using this for gaming anyway. But it just kind of goes to show that this really was not a powerful card, even when it came out back in 2009. Let's go ahead and jump into the next game. All right, up next here is the Forest, and yeah, this thing just got kneecapped. This card is not running this well. This is at 640 by 480 resolution at the lowest settings, and we're still completely pegged at max VRAM usage here. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't really know what I expected. This is a, you know, 2015-ish game. I can't remember exactly when this came out. And yeah, I mean, this is destroying this card. We're absolutely seeing that VRAM limit. This is 640 by 480. I don't think I've ever seen the Forest look this bad and run this bad at the same time. Yeah, so this is, you know, I mean, I definitely used to play games like this probably 15 years ago, but I don't think that 12 FPS is super playable in today's standards. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can run CS2. I don't know if it's going to run. I do have a backup, but let's go ahead and see if it runs CS2. All right, let's go ahead and try it. CS2. Come on. Come on. Ooh, and nothing. Requires DX11. All right, well, let's go ahead and go to the backup. All right, so we couldn't launch CS2, but we can launch CS Source. And this is a pretty good experience. This card is definitely running CS Source. I don't know of a card that can't run CS Source. But yeah, no, this is running this totally fine. You know, we're not hitting that max limit of our VRAM. Our GPU is at, you know, almost as high as we can go for usage here. We're at 94%. And temperatures are great. You know, we're hovering under 60 degrees Celsius. And we're getting 90 FPS. So you know, this is totally good. This is a great experience. I think this is totally playable. However, again, this is a really old game. It's a Source Engine game. You know, we're running it with, like I said, that Ryzen 7 2700X is not doing anything. We're at 5%. So this is really showing that this GPU can absolutely run CS Source, but again, I think everything can. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. All right, so up next is Half-Life 2. Now, this is at full resolution on the monitor, which means 1280 by 1024, and we're at pretty medium settings. I'm actually going to turn off MSAA. Yeah, MSAA is a little bit before when this card was going to be able to run that. And, you know, I mean, we're getting not amazing FPS. We're getting 40 FPS, you know, at 1024. Now, I bet you if you dropped this down to 720p, you'd probably be able to get over 60 FPS pretty consistently. But you also see our GPU utilization is not at 100%. I think a lot of that actually has to do with the memory allocation here. I think even though we're not using our full 250 megabytes, I think a lot of that GPU power is going towards their textures here. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be. But yeah, again, I mean, this is playable, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, for Half-Life 2, I'm not necessarily going to give it a pass for getting 30 FPS, you know. I mean, Half-Life 2 is it's a Source game. I mean, yes, the card did come out, I think, a little before this game did. But anyway, yep. So 40 FPS kind of average on Half-Life 2. All right, the FX380. So, you know, we kind of saw in the test, it's not super powerful. You know, I would say in games, it's actually probably right around there with the GT210. I know we said earlier that it's about 35% faster. I don't think that's true. You can actually buy them used for around the same price. I think I got this thing for like 15 bucks used. But would you buy it now? No, there's no reason to buy it now, of course, and that's not the point of this video. This isn't like a review of something you should buy. But I think it does bring up a good point, like I said in some of my other videos. I think the gaming community and hardware communities like NVIDIA move so fast in progressing that we kind of forget about what's in the past. And how kind of back in 2009, this would not have been the worst performing graphics card that you could buy. And so it's kind of interesting to think that maybe the 3080 today in, you know, 40 years is going to be a relic of the past. It's going to be terrible. And there's going to be another person on YouTube like me right now reviewing it like this, telling somebody don't buy it. So I just think it's kind of fun. Anyway, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment or a like or a subscribe, anything you want. And I'll see you guys in the next one.